Hello, hello. You can hear me well? Very nice. Very nice. Oh! What a wonderful way to start our stream, huh? So, anyways, hope everyone's having a good time and enjoying all the peaceful relaxation at home. We watched Wonder Woman 1984 yesterday. It was so bad. I don't know what they were thinking. But then, what's that word? It's all about everyone has a different perspective or something. Everyone has a different idea, but I just think that Mulan was terrible. They didn't sing any of the songs, and it's just like Disney movies are all about like having songs and stuff. I think Mulan was absolute garbage, but that's just my opinion. And then Wonder Woman 1984 was just like Wonder Woman number 1 was amazing. And Woman number 2 was just, it was a mess. It was just like 2 hours and a half of like, what is even happening? This isn't, this isn't even like, it was garbage. It felt like the whole movie was like filler. The only cool part was the intro, like the beginning sequence, and when she flew for a bit, it was like, yay, she's flying. And that was that. Anyways, just want to start it off by talking about that. Exciting times. The super dwarfs are going to be due for eggs in about a week. So that will be exciting. I'm still waking up. But to you people that are here, if you're new, hi. If you're not, welcome back. If you have any questions or want to talk about anything, feel free to lead the conversation somewhere so I don't have to talk to myself anymore. Ah, we all got the sniffles. We all like got a cold. We went out. Me and Ariel. We took the bikes. We rode our bicycles back to my mother Ariel's mom's place or her parents' place. So dropped off the bicycles. And when we did that, we were underdressed, so we froze and we both got a bit of a cold. But we haven't been hanging around a pile of people, so we're safe. You're safe. Don't worry. You're not gonna get any COVID. Trying to get monetized is just never happening for me. It's just taken a while. Uh, Working on YouTube is like, ugh, really, really hard, and it's easy to get burned out. I feel like I was posting way too much for a while, but I have all sorts of old videos that I want to like edit and finish, and then people can see those, and then I can move on to the next and make things more new. And you gotta like finish the jobs you do before you start new ones. Do 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 do. Oh, I posted some available animals, so they're all in available snakes or available geckos. I still have to post the rest of the snakes. But people were commenting about my leopard gecko tails not being fat. And it's just like baby leopard geckos don't have fat tails. First they grow. It's like the same thing with snakes. Like snakes don't just get, like they can mostly if you overfeed them. But if you feed a snake properly, it grows and it slowly gets longer and longer and longer. Once it hits its length, then it starts filling out. And once it starts filling out, then you actually even feed it a little bit less because you want it to stay lean. You don't want it to like turn into a puffy sausage. And same thing like with leopard geckos. You feed them every day, you feed them every second day. It isn't that big of a deal. If they eat every second day, it's not gonna like mess them up or have them underdeveloped. And I've always liked to keep my animals a little bit leaner. I have them chasing after their food or like, wanting food. And the funny thing is with those Charlie down the street raises my leopard geckos for me, and he offers them food all the time, so they always have a little bowl with food in it. So it's like it's not our fault if they don't eat like pigs or if they're not all chunky. Like it takes time for a leopard gecko to fill out, and well, all my adult, I'll show you what my adults look like, just so you can see, okay? I'll be right back. This is what my leopard geckos look like. And even is it a he? Is this a girl? This is a boy. So even he doesn't have like a super fat tail. But he's healthy. He's like 2 years old and sheds perfectly and eats fine, and I just put food. I put food in their homes for them. Every couple days I put a pile of dubias in their home. I make sure that they have their like vitamin and calcium, and I give them everything that they need. And the babies are a little bit more crazy, but my adults are all pretty chill. But it's just like we live in a day and age where people are so quick to talk and complain and talk nonsense about a whole pile of things that they know nothing about. So that's frustrating, but I don't let it get to me. I don't really care because it's just like I know what I'm doing. So if I feel I'm doing it right, feel free to be criticizing or anything. It's okay. Um, well, we watched The Social Experiment, and who really likes Facebook that much anyways? Like I remember before when you went on Facebook, you'd always see what everyone else was doing, and I never really cared about that anyways. I look at Facebook more like a phone book. Like that's where I'm connected to everyone. They're all there. They can shoot me a message on Messenger. It's kind of like having a visual phone book instead of like, where you have your contacts and you can't really see them. Like with Facebook, you can look, you can see, oh, they're doing this, oh, they had a baby, oh, they got married. That's nice. But it's like I've never been obsessed with it, or I've never cared to creep anyone. Like I don't really care what anyone is doing most of the time. I, but then I've never been super close with my family either. Like I'm close with my immediate family, but when it comes to like my mother and dad, my mother is like too much. She's very like loving and whatever, but she always wants to see you and talk to you and like kind of like be your mom. And it's like I'm almost 35 years old. I don't like I love you, but it's like chill out. And my dad basically, he's Austrian, and he calls me once a year and says, son, I love you. And it's like, okay, dad, cool. Why don't you come visit me, or why don't you come get us or something? He just moved up north, like to like Perry Sound or around there, and got a house there and just lives in the middle of the woods. Well, not like the middle of the woods, but like you know what I mean. He lives out there, and good for him. Like he likes being in nature and stuff. So I don't know. I just never been super family orientated. I've always believed that kind of your friends become your family. So it's just like if you have a close relationship, like for instance, my buddy Charlie, who comes and helps me with all the reptiles and stuff. He's my best friend, and he's like family to me, probably more than my own family is. So, and then Ariel's kind of like the opposite. Ariel's super family orientated, and her parents are wonderful, and they've also just kind of babied her and done everything for her whole life. So we're so different because it's like I think without knowing me or without actually seeing or like knowing my life or anything, you see me here and I look like a bum. Like this guy just hangs out all day at home with his kid. What does he even do? He doesn't do anything. And it can look like that. No, they're coming. They're due next Friday, but I have a feeling they'll take an extra week because nothing ever happens on time with me. Lots of the time, my animals seem to take longer. Are you in Canada or are you in the States? What were we gonna say? Cool. Do you keep SDs or what do you keep? But like for me, I I moved out of my home when I was 18 years old, 19 years old. I ended up opening up my own hair salon when I turned 25, and I basically slept on a futon so that I could make it work, and always kind of busted my butt to like work and do what I needed to do. Whereas kind of like Ariel was more the person where her parents always did everything for her. She stayed at home, lived at home. Why wouldn't you, right? When everything's all good and whatever. So us moving in together and just getting married and everything was just crazy because it's like we're so very different. And right now the salon is shut down, so I'm stuck at home even more. But it's good because it's like me and Avery spend a lot of time together. do, do, do. Cool. Did you get it from Garrett at Reach Out or what? I'm like, who? Vital Exotics or who? There's only a few people producing them, I think, even there. And what did you order? Oh, nice. Garrett's a good guy. Garrett's actually the person. There were two people that inspired me to kind of do YouTube. One of them was Garrett because I always liked that Garrett really teaches. Or at least he used to teach a lot more. And Tombo Logan. And what's that other one? That girl. Oh, Taylor Nicole Dean. I saw Taylor Nicole Dean and I can't even watch her and I don't get how I really like okay, so maybe she's a little attractive and maybe that's like I can't think of other reasons because I'm just like she would go on and I never forget like one time she's like what would she say? This is my snake, Louis Vuitton. It's Louis Vuitton because it's expensive. Okay, cool. It was just like this girl has like a million subscribers. I didn't really understand it. I'm just like, if this little kid can do it, I might as well try. But here I am 2 years later and I'm still not monetized. So it's just like, even once you get 1,000 subscribers, you still need to get 4,000 hours of watch time, and I'm like 400 hours away. So then I'll be able to put commercials on everything. Yay. And then who knows? It's funny because it's like it's hard enough to get views now, I think, that when the commercials come, I don't know if it's just gonna make it worse. Did you get a boy or a girl? Thank you, buddy. I think one of the hardest things is I like to be able to post anything and I like to be able to do anything. I don't like the constraints of like society and of like everything. It's like we live in a system that's designed for failure. When you think about our school system, it's been the same for the last, let's say, who knows, like the only thing they're adding to it is like gender confusion. Now let's teach boys that they can be girls if they want to, and let's teach girls that they can be boys if they want to. Like that's what's been added to our curriculum, and it's just like whatever. If that's gonna help people succeed in life, I don't really see how. And I think that children should just be children and not have to worry about what gender they are. And if that's a big issue, as it might be for some, then whatever, do whatever you want. But getting sidetracked now. Um, in on YouTube, if every video I post is about snakes, I'm gonna get like a big boost, and my channel will grow more. The moment I post a video about my daughter or about my hair salon, it tells YouTube, it confuses YouTube because they're like, wait a sec, is this a snake channel or is this a hair channel? So it's just like I like to like make if I want to make a video about some headphones, if I want to make a video about drones or Avery or like anything that I want, like I'll still do that. And because of that, it ends up actually really hurting the way my channel performs because YouTube wants you to kind of like stay in a box. They're just like, we want you to do this and you'll be the person for that. So like Garrett is the SD person. So when you look up SD retics or Superdwarf Reticulated Python, he has like 11 results in top 20 position. And for me, I think I have 2 videos in the top 20, and like that's okay, but it's just like I'll never be able to kind of be top ranking in anything unless like consistently always post like the same type of content. And I don't like those limitations. It's the same thing kind of like with when I worked at fancy hair salons, I had to dress up and like kiss people's butt all day, and I was just like, I don't want to do that. And it's like the trade-off is okay, you get to charge someone $120 a haircut, but to me, I'm like, I would rather charge them $80 a haircut and be able to dress like this and do whatever I want. No, I'm doing yeah, I'm talking to my 2 friends. Ariel knows how many people are on, so she's making fun of me. You want to come say hi, Avery? No? Okay. When when Ariel's home, I get ignored. Avery just follows her around like a little puppy, so. Yep, 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 yep. Also, just it's a huge learning curve, so I just got a better computer, so I'm learning how to edit videos on the computer, and it's totally different from the phone. Like on my phone, I can edit a video like super fast now because I've been editing on my phone for 2 years. But switching over to a desktop is, I think it's going to be better in the long run, but it's just a terrible learning curve. And I'm just the type of person where it's like I want to do something, I want to learn it, I want to figure out how to do it, and I'll just obsess over it for like weeks until I figure it out. It's like I don't want to take a course and learn over a period of 6 months. I want to like learn tomorrow. I also like with Garrett. Garrett's super like he's super on the locales, and he just made a video about that. How it's nice to you can get it off somebody that really knows their locales, or and it's interesting because it's just basically like buy it off me because he has all the locales. There aren't many other people other than the Metcalf dude too. Like there's a couple people that have really kept their lines, and over here like there really isn't much of that. So on my end of the thing, I don't really care so much about creating pures. I care more about getting their size down. So it's just like, and how they look. I just want to make beautiful snakes. Uh, I there is I get the locality thing, and I respect it, but like for me, it's more about just making a snake that I think is beautiful. So I don't really care where it's from. But then I've always been kind of anti-history anyways. Like like when you buy a house, do you care about how well it's made, or do you care about when it was made? Do you care about who built it? Do you care about what bricks were used? It's like for me, I don't care about any of that. All I care about is that I have a quality house that does all it needs to do. So my philosophy kind of on snakes is try not to inbreed them like crazy. But it's just like just because you have something that has this genetics, like it doesn't really it doesn't mean anything to me. I look at it like that's a beautiful snake. I don't give a I don't care about what the mom was or what the dad was. All I care is that I'm not going to have a 20-foot snake because I don't want a 20-foot retic. So I have a group of 6 Superdwarf retics. I have 4 females, and the lowest percentage are 50%. So I have two 50%. I have a pure, and I have a few like 75%. So I have like in between, and my 68.75 is actually smaller than my 75% Kalatoa. So it's just like my fire tiger het purple albino jasmine, and they're from the same breeder. So it's just like so my 68.75 tiger fire platinum whatever is gonna be laying eggs, and she's like 8 feet long. She might not even be 8 feet long. And my 75% is like 4 years, 5 years old. She's never bred. She still hasn't bred, and she's like 9 feet. So, and she's gonna get bigger. I'm sure that my 75% is gonna like probably hit around 12 feet by the time she's an adult. And my pure was not treated like a super dwarf. She was treated kind of like a normal retic, so she was fed quite a bit, and she stayed at like 11 feet. So she's 12 years old and 11 feet long. So to me, and she was on eggs at 5 years old, and she was only like 6 feet back then. So the big thing with all the like even Garrett, like he's selling all these animals and saying that they're the size of a ball python, and none of them are the size of a ball python except for the Karampas. Like the Karampas are the only ones that are super small. The Karampas are the only ones that you're going to be able to feed like crazy and end up with a snake that's like most likely for sure going to be under 10 feet. But any of the other, maybe Madu too, but any of the other bloodlines, they're going to hit 10 feet. Like all the 50%, the 60%, like they're going to be getting close to 10 feet. They're not all going to stay under 8 feet. So, and they're different animals. They're stronger. They have sharper teeth, and you have to kind of be on your toes with them. You have to. You want to come join? Okay. Thanks. Okay, go away. You're not allowed in my video.
Why do I hold it?
Okay, come sit here. You can hold one. Ugh.
What is that? Why do I hold it? Which kind are you holding?
So the way that I think, or what I'm planning to do, is just make them smaller and smaller, and okay. I plan on making them smaller slowly, and just taking my time with that. So I'm gonna breed, even though I could take my visuals, so I could take my ultra head anery and breed it to my ultra anery and make more 50%, and I'll get all visuals, which is so tempting to do. but instead I'm going to take my 75% purple albino and put him to my 50% ultra anery. There's also something that happens generationally. So I've been reading articles about it, and basically if you take a first generation 50% and breed it, you breed like these first generations, and then you breed them to other first generation, like, so you breed a mainland to a pure super dwarf, you make 50% super dwarfs. Those are still going to get a decent size, like probably around 12 feet. But when you take those two 50% and you breed them to each other, the second generation of 50% actually end up going down in size a bit. So it's very interesting how generationally, so the snakes that are breeding of the same percentage will actually start bringing down to size. I don't have any Dumerals. I almost bought one the other day, but it's just like I'm trying to have less animal. Yeah, I'm downsizing because it's just like if I get Dumerals, then I'm producing Dumerals, and it's just another thing that takes more work. And already I'm in like over my head. I got so much to clean all the time, and I do like I keep my animals super clean, so I'm always cleaning them and always, oh, all you do is like, weren't you supposed to do that yesterday? So I'm downsizing a lot. I'm slowly downsizing. I've picked up a IMG hypo possible het moonglow. So that was like my big snake pickup of the year. And then I have leopard geckos, which you barely ever see. But I, I've been working with the geckos at making them bigger. So I bought giants, and giant. I didn't know that giants was not even a thing. So back when I bought my giants, they were they were thought to be co-dominant. So it was like you breed a giant with a giant, and then you're gonna get some super giants. But they're not actually like over 100. So, but like, so I have a blacktail crebo that I don't have a pair for. I have a like some king snake, a couple king snakes, a couple corn snakes. I have the boas are what I have the most of. So lots of boas, and I want to cut that kind of into half and replace it with the new ones that are growing up. And then I have a few leopard geckos, but I've just slowly been keeping the biggest ones and trying to see if I ever do get super dwarfs, because I think that super giants, because I think I have hit giant blood in my babies. So I've been raised like these. This is the first. This is probably one of the first babies that I got from breeding that I kept because he's a pretty good size. So this year I'm breeding him to one of the biggest females. So we're gonna see if I end up. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I end up getting bigger ones. But I've just slowly been kind of doing that, and I haven't been buying any more leopard geckos. I just been kind of growing them. I'll show you my favorite little one. Yeah, so I basically keep them and I raise them for a year, and then I keep one or two and I sell the rest to people as pets. But I'm not like, I don't consider myself like a serious leopard gecko breeder. I don't know if they have hidden hits and stuff, and I'm not really going that way. I'm just gonna be I'll probably I'm trying to find like the perfect group of like female to male ratios. So it's like I kind of want to have, like, at all times I want to have 6 female leopard geckos and keep it like that. So it's like the best 6 females I keep, and the rest of them I sell as pets. And then same thing with the boas. I want to have like 6 female boas, and then breed 3 of them one year, and then breed 3 of them the next year. So kind of have them on rotation. And then with crested geckos, same thing. I want to have 6 females and 2 males. So have it like 3 females with a male and 3 females with a male, and have like this kind of efficient ratio, so that it's like, instead of having no direction where you're just breeding this, breeding that, breeding whatever you can, I'm trying to kind of figure out a system where, okay, I'm able to kind of sell this much each year, so that's how much I'm going to produce. And I never want to overproduce or have to, you know, when you overproduce, you have so many animals that you have to take care of, and then after you have to sell them for cheaper or wholesale them. And to me, I kind of just want to have a slow, steady, like, where it's growing, but then once it does get to the point where it's just like, okay, they're all selling pretty easily because more people know about them and everything. Because like, I'm in Toronto, there's 2 or 3 reptile stores, and when you go into those reptile stores, they don't have any quality animals. Like, all their animals are just like whatever. Like, somebody breeds something, they can't take care of them, they drop them off at the pet store. And there's nothing kind of like specialty. There's nothing where it's like, this is where you go to get like the best. Like in the States, not in the state. In the States, there's more that there's more like breeders that have businesses, and they're like legit businesses. Here in Montreal, there's a guy, Chuck Royale, and he has like a legitimate business. He's a breeder, he has a beautiful shop. I don't even know if he has a beautiful shop. I lied. I never seen it. But like, he's like one of the people I could think of that has all that stuff. Even think about Garrett, right? Garrett doesn't have a shop. He's doing it in his basement. And when his YouTube and whatever takes off even more. So it's like, I've known Garrett since he was at like 5,000 subscribers. And when he hits like, 100,000 subscribers and he's selling even more snakes, and he's able to expand, he's going to expand probably the same way as everybody else did. Like, you look at Snake Discovery, and she opened up a zoo. You look at Brian Barchuk, and he opened up a zoo. And lots of these keepers, as they do better, they they expand and they open up a zoo. It's like, for me, I never I never want to open up a zoo. Not that like I wouldn't like to, but it's just like I wouldn't want that responsibility. Like, to have to go and like babysit a pile of people that work for you and do all that stuff. It's not my thing. If I ever really like took off and grew, I just want to have more exclusive animals. I would much rather work with 10 animals that are like the only ones in the world, and their babies are selling for like, let's say, $10,000 each, than working with like hundreds of animals just to produce kind of mediocre quality animals for the public. Like, I want to be more of a collect, like almost like collector animals. Like, we don't want to view our animals as like, collections, but it's just, they really are like the finest pieces of art that you could have. that's how I look at it. It's like you can spend all the money you want on a diamond or on a piece of jewelry, but that jewelry, it doesn't do anything. So it's just like, why not have, you know, a pet that is like a fine piece of art, that is just like, you have one that it's like, wow, this is amazing. Nobody else has one that looks as beautiful as mine, and I'm proud of it, you know? And it has nothing to do with, I guess, cockiness or like I'm better than you or whatever. It has to do with like hard work and selection, and like just going out there and picking out things that like, that's what I try to do. I try to pick out animals that really stand out to me. I don't really care about what's popular. I'm not breeding super dwarfs because they're popular or because I think I'll be able to like sell a pile. I'm breeding them because I want to work on the project myself, and I want to make snows in Canada, right? Like Garrett has snows over there, and I don't think there's any snows in Canada yet. So I saw an opportunity to get an Anery Ultra from Bob Clark like 3 years ago, and I jumped on it. So I'm the first person in Canada that has an Ultra Anery, and other people might have them now, but mine was the first one in Canada. So I think I'll have kind of like a jump start on the snows. But then here's the thing: when I get the double hit snows, they're just gonna look normal. So it's just like, I'm not gonna, like, in Canada, people don't really pay as much for snakes either. I I, I don't really know why, because we have less variety. And to me, I figure if something's more scarce, it should actually have more value here because less people have them. But the mentality of lots of people is that, oh, you know what, it's not as popular here, and nobody's willing to pay that, so I'm just going to drop my price. And that's sadly what ends up happening, and it just kind of ruins, like, it's good for the buyer because you can get a lot of stuff for cheaper, but it's bad for the breeder because it's just like, you work for years on these projects and then people don't really want to pay you for them. Whereas like with Garrett, yeah, he's worked for years on his projects and he gets to charge whatever he wants because he's the top dog when it comes to super dwarfs. There's nobody else kind of producing those things, so there's no one really to compete with. But think about this: Karampas are being bred in Indonesia, and you know how much it costs to get a Karampa from Indonesia? It costs $150. So I've made a friend in Indonesia, and I can get green tree pythons off him for $8, and I can get Karampas off him for $150. But to get them here, like, legitimately, you have to go through all sorts of paperwork and stuff. It ends up costing about $2,000-3,000 to bring them here, and I don't want to go through that. I don't want to go through, let's say, like, you have to, when you're doing importing and you're not doing it through proper importers, you're basically trusting someone with your money, and anything could happen. You might end up getting it, you might not. And you can illegally smuggle them here for like $300, which is a lot easier, but it's just, I don't want to do anything illegal. But I have friends in Indonesia that are producing Karampas, so they have been captive bred before. They're just not available to anyone else except for the people that have them here. And I don't know, it's just, I'm not willing to spend thousands of dollars for a animal that I could get for $150 if I lived somewhere else. So I don't know. And honestly, I think that Yeah, you can ship to the States. I'm not sure with the retics how what it goes with. Like I can ship boas to the States for about $350 ballpark. But the thing with like those Karampas and that person and whatever, that's like my contact that I won't share with anyone either. Because I don't really want other people doing that. Um I'm all for kind of like helping other people with whatever they're doing, but it's just like we have certain projects and stuff that you just they're yours, you know? And what was the other thing? So even the size of Karampas, I like when a snake gets the size of a boa. So the size of my 68.75 Superdwarf, she is the perfect size. She's still gonna get bigger, but I actually like when they're like when they're 7-8 feet. To me, that's the perfect size. With Karampas, they're super small, and when they stay like 5 feet and super small, I don't actually even like them as much. So I'm still trying to get the size down, but I don't really care for them to be ball pythons. I think that my favorite snake when it comes to like SDs are my favorite for how intelligent they are and active, and it's just there's more going on. But boas are kind of my favorite for that size because boas will just get like 8 feet and they're just nice and thick and they just feel like a nice big snake and everything. Just one sec. Once I have the super dwarf eggs, then I'm gonna start figuring out how shipping and everything works. Because the problem with super dwarfs is they're considered reticulated pythons. So it's kind of like they're legal by their size, but they're not legal by their species. So working with them in Canada is like it's different. So I'll have to figure out how to be able to ship them across Canada. And then if it's possible to ship to the States, I'm not sure. Even pricing, I'm not even sure. Like I don't know what to price things because there's nothing else really here to compare them to. Because I'm just thinking, oh, I can compare them to what I got them for. Yeah, well, the big thing is like when Queen gives birth, she is calico, and calico can possibly like show up in the babies, but the problem with calico is like it takes a couple years before it happens. And I don't want to raise a whole, I've thought about it. I don't really want to raise a whole litter of super dwarfs just to see if that happens. And at the same time, if I end up selling them and then somebody, like if somebody, let's say I sell them for like $500 because they're all gonna, well, no, they'll be platinum. So I don't know. I'll probably sell them for around $1,000, and $1,000 in Canadian is like about less. Yeah, it's like less than 800 American. So I think that that's reasonable. But yeah, but if they if someone let's say yeah, if someone buys one and then 3 years down the road I see like they're going calico or something, I'm gonna just, oh, it's gonna be so frustrating to. It's just like I have a litter that of sun glows and snows and moon glows, and they're all possible IMG, and I don't know which ones are IMG. So it's like I have to hold on to a whole litter because I don't want to sell anything because I don't want to accidentally sell an IMG to someone, and at the same time I don't want to sell something as and sell it like its normal price because then later on it ends up being an IMG, and then I sold like a $3,000 animal to someone for $700. So it's just like I don't know what to do with those. Yeah, I'm gonna come eat my sandwich. Anyways, I think that's a wrap for today. I'm gonna go eat breakfast and do stuff. But thank you for hanging out and giving me company. And I hope you everything goes well with your girl. Just spend a lot of time with her, especially in the beginning. Play with those faces. You got to play with their faces a lot, and always treat retics with respect because they can surprise you. You know, especially like the SDs. They do have different personalities from the mainlands, and they do get excited. They go through they go through different phases. I find also like there was Jasmine. I always trusted Jasmine. I always would just touch her with my hands and not worry about doing like the hook training or whatever. And as she got older, I still never had any problems. And now, like here and there, when I'm about to feed her, she's in feeding mode and she wants to eat. So you always got to turn off their feeding response. It's not something that you should mess around with. Whereas like with my boas, it's never like that. I know I can just go in and touch any boa on the head. I can go reach into like my I don't know, like my 20 breeders or something. Like I can reach in and touch any of them and I'm never gonna have a problem. But with my super dwarfs, I can't go in and touch them on the head because they'll bite me in the hand. So anyways, have a good one, enjoy your week, and see you around.